A man hijacked Northwest Orient Flight 305, demanded $200,000 in cash, and got every bit of it. Then he stepped out the back door of the plane, into a thunderstorm, at night, wearing a business suit. He was never seen again. Not by the FBI, not by anyone, until, years later, part of his money washed up on a riverbank and raised more questions than it answered. The night before Thanksgiving, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded Flight 305 under a fake name. He ordered a drink, then quietly handed a flight attendant a note. It said, "I have a bomb." He showed her enough to convince her it was real, then told her what he wanted. His demands were specific: $200,000 in $20 bills and several parachutes. The airline agreed without hesitation. Once the money and parachutes arrived, Cooper let every passenger go. Then he made one more request: take the plane back up and head south. Somewhere over the dense Pacific Northwest forests, flying low through a storm, Cooper lowered the jet's rear stairs and jumped. No radio call, no goodbye, just a sudden shift in the plane, felt by everyone aboard. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in American history. Teams, aircraft, and dogs combed the forest for weeks. They found nothing: no parachute, no body, no money. It became the only unsolved hijacking of its kind in U.S. history. Back then, hijackings were almost routine, dozens every year. But Cooper's case was different. He didn't ask to be flown to Cuba. He asked for cash and a parachute, and that changed how the country thought about airline security. Years later, a boy digging on a riverbank found a bundle of decaying cash buried in the sand. The serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money exactly. It was the only trace of the money ever found, and nobody can fully explain how it got there. Over the years, investigators looked at hundreds of suspects: a paratrooper with a near-identical hijacking on his record, an airline employee whose own family had suspicions, even a man named decades later by his niece. Every theory had something that fit, and something that didn't. So, 3 names. Let's walk through them. The paratrooper pulled off an almost identical hijacking a year later. Same method, same demands. Tempting, but he was caught fast. And his own jump didn't exactly go gracefully. Doesn't quite fit a man who vanished without a trace. The mystery uncle was named by a relative decades later, with a story and an old photo. No documents, no evidence ever tied to him. Compelling story, thin case. Then there's the airline mechanic. He knew that aircraft inside and out, including exactly how those rear stairs worked, which almost nobody outside the airline did. He'd grown up jumping out of planes. And people who knew him said he matched the sketch more than anyone else ever has. Is it proof? No. The FBI never confirmed it, and he can't speak for himself anymore. But out of everything on this board, that's the one I keep coming back to. Eventually, the FBI stepped back, not because it was solved, because there was nothing left to follow. Did he survive a night jump into a storm, in the dark, in dress shoes? Or is that riverbank the only proof he ever existed at all? This case didn't just stay a mystery, it changed things. Airlines redesigned planes so the rear stairs couldn't open mid-flight. Screening got stricter almost overnight. And in one small Washington town near where he jumped, people still hold a festival in his honor. Hundreds have confessed to being him over the years. Not one has ever been proven right. A man vanished into a storm with a fortune in cash, and the world still doesn't know who he was. What's your theory? Tell me below.